My name is Alex Comfort, and I am thrilled to be the president of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. And we are hosting this lunch today, and I welcome you. I'm going to, my first symbolic action is to hold that up. Do I need to say anything more? No, I hope not. All right? And so I'm holding that up, and I will also say, Cynthia, you go that way. All right, and I will also say that there are posters of all our award winners, and they are off to the right as you exit, and you can put little comments on them, congratulate them, and years from now, those posters will be highly valued by those people. So please make comments on the posters as you leave today. David Meyer, you're right here at 24. Thank you very much. Now, believe it or not, the obligatory few minutes for the president to speak, I have tried to figure out how to get this down to 4 rounds of applause and about 7 to 8 minutes, so we're going to try. So the first thing I need to do is ask 4 individuals to join me up here in the stand, on the podium, because the sooner you get up here, the sooner you'll be done with me. And those 4 are Dr. Paul Knott, David Meyer, Kelly Brandon, and the Reverend Bill Buchanan. The 4 of you will come forward, and then for all the award winners at the same time, if I can get all 7 of you to come over here in the corner, so that as you listen to my dulcet tones, you can have your pictures taken by Hope Snipes. And so I'd like all 7 award winners. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. You got to come up on the podium. All right. So I need all 7 award winners to stand up and walk over here to the corner. There, we got a little movement. Way to go, Paul. All right. Okay, so that seems to be doing well. So let me say that, again, the Association of Fundraising Professionals is a group of 100 fundraisers in Western North Carolina. You look to us for training, for emphasis on ethics, so that fundraising is done properly, and we are part of the largest group of fundraisers in the world. There are 30,000 in this country, and it's an international organization. We're the largest group of fundraisers in the world, and so we are thrilled to have our 22nd National Philanthropy Day, and in case you didn't know it, National Philanthropy Day became a national day in 1986, and it's actually tomorrow, but we are here today. So, I want to, again, thank you for coming. I want to note one thing as you look through your booklets today. Toward the back is something called the AFP Donor Bill of Rights. This is what every donor should be able to expect from their nonprofit, and I thank Kelly Brandon for putting that in the book today. And one little thing that you may not know, ladies and gentlemen, is that there's an ongoing debate in Washington, D.C. about the charitable deduction. And many people, frankly, a bipartisan group is working to end the charitable deduction for high-income Americans. And the Association of Fundraising Professionals is working very hard to keep that as it is. So please watch that as you go along. It's extremely important. The only way to begin something like this is to say thank you to our sponsors. I'm going to begin with Dr. Paul Knott. Dr. Paul Knott is the Asheville head of Lenore-Ryan University Center for Graduate Studies. He has come to Asheville a couple years ago and put together a fabulous program. You've got the 10 degree programs that they have, and I am not bringing up, we're very glad to have with us today, Dr. Wayne Powell, who's the president of Hickory, or of Lenore University in Hickory, and Dr. Drew Van Horn. And we all know who Drew is and what he did around here. I liken this to when Dr. Powell hired Dr. Van Horn, to a baseball manager who hires a all-star long-term manager as his bench coach. And so I think the only way you do this is if you're having a very good year. And so Lenore-Ryan is having a very good year. They've also made the seminary in Columbia, South Carolina part of their group, and so it's a very interesting and very wonderful group to have in Asheville. So Dr. Paul Knott, as I said, is the head of this. I'll also say, for all us nonprofits, that when we're looking for a place to hold an event, Paul very often will be able to give you a place to hold it and wonderful parking. So call him down at Lenore Ryan, which is on 36 Montfort. And so with that, thank you, Paul, and you may be seated. That was applause number one. The second thing that we have to do is to thank Wells Fargo Advisors, David Meyer and Roger Aiken, for sponsoring our past awardees. And we are thrilled to be able to have our past awardees come every year, and for the second year, David and Roger have done this. And so I'm going to ask at this point, and please don't applaud, I would ask all of the people who have won awards at National Philanthropy Day or who have won the Ken Robertson Award for Outstanding Executive Director, if you would please stand and remain standing. All right? I want you all to see how many of these people are with us today, and just think about how important they are in our philanthropic lives. Yeah, there's some of you that aren't standing. No, Ed, no. You have to stand, keep standing. All right, now, I was trying to figure out what to say about these people. And I realized, it's the who's who of fundraising in this area. But I thought maybe I'd start with telling you who's the oldest. But I figured if I told you who was the oldest, Tony Eyes would get angry at me. And then I thought maybe I'd tell you who's the prettiest. And I thought I'd do that, except I know Luther Barnhart would get angry about that. By the way, you two, would you do me a favor and start wearing sunglasses all the time? I'm so sick of hearing about your eyes from all our female donors. Okay. I do have to say one thing, though. I could say a story about every one of these people. But we can't come today without noting the retirement of Bruce Thorson at Mission Hospital Foundation. Now, well, you slipped a round of applause in on me anyway. I want you all to know that Bruce has done a whole lot more than keep Mission going for a lot of years. He has raised money, or he's done that, but he's helped lots of small nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina in his tenure here at Mission. But there's something that you don't know about him that I think I know and that you should know. Now, fundraisers, you got a lot of stress, all right? But I have to tell you something. Bruce took over a hospital foundation as CEO and president at age 24. He has been the executive director of a hospital foundation for the past 42 years. Now, all of you rocket scientists have just figured out he's 66. Very good. So he's just a mere pup. But because of that, because of what he's done, we think it's okay for him to retire. And again, I'll ask a round of applause for all of our past award winners there. So far, my humor is working all right, so let's go for it. Okay, the next thing I'd like to do is to introduce you to Kelly Branding. Kelly is a past president of AFP. You can go. Yeah, thank you. Kelly is a past president of AFP, and she's been chairing the National Philanthropy Day this year. There are more people here today than we've seen in a lot of years, over 400. And I'll also say by Karen Hulteen, who is in charge of our sponsorships this year, we've had more sponsorships than we've ever had, and it's terribly important. So the first thing I'll say to Kelly is thank you. And Kelly, here's a little token of our appreciation, and I need you to step up here. Now the good news is that Kelly's done a wonderful job with National Philanthropy Day. The bad news is that she's a little dangerous, and I have to tell you why. As president, you get a lot of emails, and when you get close to NPD, you get even more emails. And so I was up to about 20 emails every hour, and I'm trying to do everything, and I'm a night person, so the truth is sometimes I don't look at email till late, and I look up and hear another 2 or 3 from Kelly. And I sat down at 11:30 one night and started going through the emails, and then I opened this email from Kelly, and folks, it wasn't a normal email. It was a very long statement, all right? And I started in. And it was, Alex, here's what I think you ought to say at National Philanthropy. First of all, you got to start with the boards. The board members are so important. They are fantastic. They give of their time and their talent, their treasure, they're recruiting people, they're talking the mission, they're just wonderful. And so they're talking about boards, and suddenly I realized somehow she had hooked God Bless America into the back of this email. So I'm reading along, and God Bless America. And then she says, then you got to talk to the donors. The donors are fantastic. They give until it hurts, and they never stop giving, and they're wonderful. You got to talk about them. Land out. And this goes on for a while. It's going and going and going. And then she gets to all the fundraisers and all the people involved with the fundraising process and the boards and the fundraisers ourselves, and then the back office people who tell us where to go and what to do and how wonderful they are and the work that we do in the community, and it's so wonderful. And I started getting excited. Folks, it's 11:45 at this time of night. So I didn't know what else to do. I got so excited, I ran to my Rolodex and I pulled out Pam Turner's phone number. So I'm going to call Pam and ask her for a gift. I don't know what else to do, I'm so excited. And Pam's the only one I know who's still awake at that hour. And I started dialing Pam's number, and I realized, Comforts, you're a consultant. You can't do this anymore. You can't even ask her for a gift. Yeah. So anyway, I hung up. I put it all back, and I put the phone down. And I realized, be wary of Kelly Brandon because she's going to get you in trouble. Okay. So take all that Kelly had wanted to heart and understand how much we appreciate what you all do. I would like at this point to have, and please hold your applause for a minute, all the members of Kelly's committee to please stand. And then once this group has stood, I would like all the members of our AFP Board of Directors to go ahead and stand up, and I'd like you to thank both of these groups of people. Thank you very much. Well, thank you for indulging me in my little time up here. One of the things about being in the fundraising business and being in the nonprofit business is the ups and downs that we all experience. And it's been an unprecedented period in the last 5 or 6 years. Things are a little better, but they're still tough. There's more pressure on fundraisers than I've ever seen in my life. And as we look at the joys and sorrows of the job, we know how important the work is. We also know that it's really incredibly meaningful for us to be able to do this. We have losses. The Evelyn family has had some incredible losses this year. We look at that kind of thing, and then I'll also tell you there are some losses that are good losses. A good example of that is my friend and colleague and one of the best fundraisers in Western North Carolina, Jay Clarkson, who will be leaving our area before too long to go to an Episcopal seminary. That's a good loss. But one of the losses that's been most palpable for us at AFP has been an individual who we first all got to know a couple of years ago at National Philanthropy Days. Amy Wallace Buchanan and Bill Buchanan have founded the Asheville Youth Mission, and in the 2 years that she did the invocation, she delivered the finest invocations I've ever heard in my life, and as you may know, I've got 35 years in as an Episcopal priest. The work that they do is really important, and we lost Amy at a very young age this past year. And so the AFP board wanted this luncheon to be offered in memory of Amy, and with that I've asked the Reverend Bill Buchanan to come forward and do our invocation today. Thank you, Bill.
In 2009, Amy and I had a vision of ministry and service in the Asheville community. It was a vision of young people finding their gifts, discovering their passions, finding their identity in service to others, serving their neighbors, particularly those in the most need. That vision became a reality with Asheville Youth Mission for us. 9 months ago, she passed very unexpectedly, but her passion and her love, particularly her love of neighbor, lives on through the legacy that is AYN. Amy felt a particular kinship to this group, to this event. It was a kinship of common values with you all, a shared passion for helping those who are in the most need here in the community. She felt honored to be part of this event and to give the invocation in multiple years of this event. So in memory of that relationship and in honor of the continuing common work that you all do through the organizations and the people that are represented here, I want to share the following invocation. It was the one that Amy shared with this group in 2011. You know, they say that money doesn't have the power to buy you happiness. Well, my dad says it sure takes the edge off agony. Many say that the power of money rests in the hands of Europe and China these days. Perhaps it depends on how many people show up for Black Friday this year. Or maybe the power of a dollar can be revealed with what happens to it after a week under your mattress versus a week in the stock market. Money can make you look good. It can make you feel good. It can take you places and then turn around and bring you back home. The power of money can make you powerful yourself. But in the end, the power of money cannot be measured accurately by the way that it looks in stacks, or how it counts up on a calculator, or gets reported on a ticker tape. The power of money is in its use. And so we celebrate that a dollar is most powerful when it is given away and when it is shared in the name of love. For you see, a dollar that is given away can transform into a building where people are cured from disease. It can shape itself into a smile on a hungry child's face. It can become a house for someone who needs one. A dollar can save a whale or a tiger or even a rainforest. It can be refuge to a woman who is escaping an abuser. It can rebuild a life. A dollar that is shared can renew an elderly man who needs a hot meal. It can redeem a criminal who needs a second chance. It can rehabilitate an addict who needs more than rock bottom. A dollar can reform what needs reforming and restore what needs restoring. A dollar in the right hands can do all of these things because a dollar has the most power when we let it go. So today, we celebrate philanthropists. You whose love for others harnesses the greatest of your power. You who understand the power of money given and energy shared. You who believe in abundance, even when the world would convince you that scarcity should be the guiding rule. You who are convinced that no matter how much you share, well, you always receive more than you give, because that is just how giving works. So may we be blessed by what we give away, and may the God who loves giving bless us today. Amen.
Okay, the last thing I would like to do before we turn it over to lunch and then Amanda Edwards is to ask our sponsors to stand as I read off your names. Our lead sponsor, again, Dr. Paul Knott from Lenore University Center for Graduate Studies of Asheville. If you'll stand and remain standing. Wells Fargo Advisors, Roger Aiken and David Meyer is the past awardee sponsor. Our underwriters today are Care Partners Foundation, Scott Buchanan, First Citizens Bank, Pat Carver, Pardee Hospital Foundation, Kim Hinkleman, the Renaissance Asheville Hotel, Herman Turk, UNC Asheville, Chancellor Ann Ponder, Warren Wilson College, President Steve Solnick, Western Carolina University, Jim Miller, the Community Foundation of Western North Carolina, Elizabeth Brazox, TD Bank, Charles Frederick. Our benefactors are Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation of North Carolina, Sissy Stevens, if I can get you to stand for them. Four Seasons with Derek Groves, Johnson Price and Sprinkle, Melissa Penscott, MMS Dave Campbell, Pepsi-Cola, John Teeter couldn't be here. And then finally, our friends, Mark Goldstein from Communication Mark, Angela Kemper from Hunter Kemper Consulting, Wilson Sims from Sims and Steel Consulting, and Sharon Owen from Sisters of Mercy, Urgent Care's Macaulay Mercy Foundation. Thank you very much if you celebrate this. If you will enjoy your lunch, we'll be back with the rest of the program in a few minutes. We have had a wonderful time at AFP over the last several years, but primarily because Amanda Edwards was our past president for the previous 2 years, and I would like to introduce her to the rest of the program now.
Thank you for that, Alex, and thanks again to each of you for being with us today. This is my favorite event of the year because it's our opportunity to recognize and thank each of you for the contributions that you make to philanthropy in Western North Carolina. So let's get down to business. The reason we are all here is to recognize today's winners. As I begin speaking about you, if you and your nominator would please join me on the stage, that would be terrific. Matt Pearsall describes himself as a lawyer by license, a businessman by trade, and an environmentalist by choice. Matt's generous support of Warren Wilson College throughout the years has made him one of the largest living donors at Warren Wilson College. His gifts have gone to support student scholarships, capital needs, sustainability initiatives, and technology innovations. Matt's friends describe him as a visionary, principled, and passionate individual who will give his all to the worthy cause that he's involved in. Those qualities have led Matt Pearsall to be selected as the 2013 Outstanding Philanthropist of the Year. He is escorted by Allie Wilson and multiple others from Warren Wilson College.
I brought the 3rd Marine Division here with me, but I want to introduce the people who stand behind me and the things that I do. And first thing I'd like to do is thank you for the flattering introduction, which my father would have loved and my mother might have believed. On National Philanthropy Day, it is indeed an honor to be chosen as the 2013 Philanthropist of the Year. And I'd like to express my appreciation to the association for receiving that award. I'm very flattered also to be among the group of prior recipients, many of whom are my personal friends, such as Dawn and Elizabeth Cooper, Joel Adams, and Tina McGuire, and Adelaide Key, just to mention a few. I'd also like to say thanks to my injured wife in absentia. She had an accident this week, fell off a ladder and has a leg, and is in Charlotte and couldn't be here. But also I do have with me my son Brad and his wife Sarah and grandson James, and our daughter and granddaughter. school, and I want to thank them for backing me up in my philanthropic endeavors. And then I give thanks to my two Robins. Robin Lowe, who is my administrative assistant in Amazon Logistics, and Robin Kate, who is my civic engagement consultant and all-times operating officer in the ventures that I again didn't get into, and I could not do the things that I do if I did not have them backing up. So you all can, I think, leave the stage, and as they retire from this sumptuous meal that's going to probably be hard to keep you awake from that heavy meal, as they retire, I'd like to express my appreciation to all of you who labor in the trenches for the good causes, and you are the real enablers of the philanthropic endeavors in Western North Carolina. And when I received the notification of the fact that I was going to get this award, it caused me to think about what philanthropy is, and I was also asked to respond to the question of my own personal journey of philanthropy. And in preparing those remarks and research, I found some rather flowery and wordy definitions of philanthropy, and I finally decided on this simple definition which works for me. It's private initiatives for public good, focusing on quality of life. Now, while for many people currency or philanthropy may be measured in monetary terms, for me philanthropy comes in many different forms. To me, it's about using one's social capital, one's intellectual capital, and one's investment capital to make the world a better place, and hope that in doing so, you are setting an example. In readying myself for today, I also had to struggle with the question of from where did my philanthropic inclinations come? And I have concluded that they came from the precepts and example as set by my family. We knew who we were as a family, and I was reminded early and often of the generous blessings that we had received. And as a family, we did not live in a world or operate in a framework where a lot of conspicuous wealth was displayed. My family was a believer in the philosophy of Andrew Carnegie, who had this to say about philanthropy. The surplus wealth is a sacred trust which its possessor is bound to administer in his lifetime for the good of the community. And I was taught early on that regardless of your station in life, that everybody has an obligation to throw some wood up on the community woodpile. And my first recollection of a personal philanthropic experience came from the lowly cardboard mite box that is used in the Episcopal Church to encourage a sense of giving and contribution by children. And I can personally remember the warm feelings of sharing that I felt when I knelt at the altar to put my coin-stuffed mite box down there at the end of the Lenten season. Now, my field training in philanthropy came from my mother, and from the many trips that I've made with her to disadvantaged homes, bearing food and oftentimes hand-me-down clothes to families that were disadvantaged, and particularly the visits at Christmas time when we would carry all sorts of goodies and provide a Christmas opportunity for families that would not have otherwise had one. And I can fondly remember the expressions of gratitude in the eyes and on the faces of the children in those homes. And as fate would have it, payback for philanthropy comes in strange ways. Last summer I got a phone call, my administrative assistant got a phone call from a lady who said she wanted to talk to me, and she's pretty good interceptor. She doesn't let a lot of people get through that we don't know she'll be there. She said, my family grew up on one of your farms in eastern North Carolina. Said I was a member of a family of 8 children in a tenement house in the late 1940s and early 50s. She was seeking a picture of her father to have to use at a family reunion coming up in Philadelphia. And she wanted to engage in a conversation with me about her experiences of living there in eastern North Carolina in a tenement house on the farm. She said, I was reminded of the Sundays when you and your father and brother would come out and give us hand-me-down clothes, and we would fight over those clothes as to who was going to get those clothes. He said, I was also reminded of the fact that it was your father who got electricity extended to my house. He said, and you have to understand this within a southern mentality and southern context. He said, to me, that expression by your father of getting electricity run to my house was the first demonstration of the fact that we were human beings. We were human beings. Now, having electricity run to that house enabled this lady to get a good, strong basic education, to go on to college and get 2 degrees, a master's and a doctor's degree in societal planning. And she turned out to be a major leader politically and societally in Philadelphia. Now, it was on those trips that I got my first observation of the real manifestations of poverty and disadvantage. And they have never left me to this day. As I returned from those humble circumstances to relative opulence and a home with a retinue of servants, I always felt an enduring sense of discomfort as to the disparity of the blessings that I had been given in life by many other less fortunate souls. And it was then when I really understood the true meaning of there, but by the grace of God, go I, because it could have been me. And for a lifetime, I've struggled with that disparity and that disquietude. And upon reflection on receiving this award, it may well be that it was those events that are driving my philanthropic inclination. Now, from the sum of my familial experiences and my personal experiences in philanthropy, I have learned the not-so-disguised message in the Dickens Christmas Carol. And that is, the evils of greed and the joy of charity. The evils of greed and the joy of charity. And I also have learned what I perceive to be the great value of parents, showing great examples of philanthropy to their children early on, and asking their children to be personally involved in what I consider to be those character-building experiences. So again, I give great thanks for this most prestigious and meaningful award for me to be the 2013 Philanthropist of the Year, an award you give me for doing something that I greatly enjoy.
Sissy Stevens is a volunteer who leads by example with sheer determination for success. She has endlessly motivated others to join her in her philanthropic endeavors. Sissy's fundraising efforts has led to millions of dollars raised to support Manna Food Bank, and she forged the relationship that led to Blue Cross Blue Shield's partnership with UNC Asheville's Health and Wellness Center. As the chair of the Manna Food Bank Development Committee, Sissy instilled her passion for fundraising in each of the board members and led multiple board giving campaigns that led to 100% board giving. For her unending ability to lead successful fundraising to strengthen our community, we recognize Sissy Stevens as our outstanding volunteer fundraiser, who is joined by Cindy Brickell and Donna Inslee from Manna Food Bank.
Oh my goodness. Sometimes I think I sound like the ever-ready bunny. Never give up, just keep working. I cannot tell you how honored I am to receive this award, and I want to thank Donna especially, and Cindy and Manna Food Bank for nominating me for this award. It's been a pleasure to be involved with Manna. Manna is a wonderful organization, as you all know. And you know, when Toby Ives asked me to be a member of the Manna Food Bank Board, I thought, well, I love food, so it ought to be a good thing. And sure enough, it was, but it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. I feel like an award like this is not because I deserve it, but because of all the people who have helped make my role successful. You can't raise funds without a whole lot of help from staff and volunteers. And I am humbled to be recognized, and I want to thank all those people who said, you deserve it, because I think to myself, I don't deserve it. First of all, the organization and the good works that it does deserve it. The staff, the volunteers, everyone who's a part of whatever vision and mission you are passionate about, they're the ones. You can't do volunteer, you can't raise money by yourself. And thank goodness, because I don't like to be by myself. I like to be with a group of people, and that's what makes, I guess that's how I got in this position. Because if someone had said to me, when I joined my first nonprofit board, well, you know, you're going to be, that's what you're going to do on board. You're going to raise money. And you know, if you talk to most board members and you say, we want you to be on our board because we want you to help us raise funds, they would probably run as fast as they knew how in the other direction. And I know I would have too, but let me tell you that when you have passion for a cause, and you have great people behind you, and the goals you have are important ones that can make a difference to this community, it all gets to be pretty darn easy, as many of you know. Anyway, as I said, I can't do it by myself, and I thank you very much for this wonderful award. I will treasure it always, and I want to recognize my family. I would have brought them up here, but they would have given me a whole lot of grief. Our son Wyatt and his wife Kim are very special people, and they have supported me in all my stuff. And my ever-loving husband, he was giving me a hard time before I came up here, so he deserves that. Anyway. Anyway, I couldn't have done it without him. I can't do it without him, and I can't do it without all of you all, and the wonderful things you do to make this community very, very special. Thank you.
As his daughter Ty has said, Dawn Harris believes that people should not boast or brag about money, but rather they should use it in a good way to help others. This belief has been at the foundation of his 30-year career in the nonprofit sector, where Dawn has served at organizations such as Christ School, UNC Asheville, Manna Food Bank, and Warren Wilson College. Dawn believes in building relationships with donors that lead to generous gifts. Dawn has also become synonymous in our community with highly successful capital campaigns. For his contribution to our fundraising professional, we recognize Dawn Harris as our outstanding fundraising executive this year.
Hi, I'm Don Harris. I'm a fundraiser. There are page cards at the table. First off, my daughters, Ty and Whitney, I brought them up because they're both spending much of their lives helping other people, and something I'm very proud of. Also, I'm honored to be part of this recipient group. Sissy Stevens, by the way, this is 4 institutions that we work together. She cannot say no, so pick on her. She'll say yes, whatever you ask. Also honored to be part of the group that professional fundraisers. I consider them all consummate professionals and close friends. Kelly Brandon actually served an internship with me when she was still in college, and I'm proud of what she's done with her career. Yesterday about this time, I was sitting at the kitchen table of a 95-year-old lady, hoping she was going to say yes to an ask for a very significant gift that would have a lot of impact on the college where I work. And as I was waiting for her answer, I thought about all the other times I had sat waiting for someone to say yes to an ask for a significant gift, and was amazed how many times yes was the answer. And the things that we were able to do, feed children, build buildings, educate people, provide homes for homeless, help cure diseases, just because someone thought about what we had asked and said, that's an investment that I would like to make. And it's been an honor for me for 30 years to be involved in doing things like that. So thank you, and as I said, pledge cards at the table.
Philanthropy has always been a part of Paige's life. Her mother instilled it in her from a very young age. Paige is described as having a spirit and grace about her. And we're also told that her favorite word is totally. So with that said, Paige is totally committed to whatever she takes on, and she does so without ever expecting accolades and praise. For her commitment to improving our community at such a young age, we honor Paige Neville as our Outstanding Youth in Philanthropy today, who is escorted by her nominator, Lutrell O'Kane.
You'll have to be patient with me. I'm a newbie, so I actually wrote all my thank yous down. So I'm a big believer in the idea that if you send positive energy out into the universe, positive energy will come back your way. It's a give and take system. And in that idea, I'm really up here just as a middleman. Because any degree of philanthropy that may pose itself in the way I live my life is really just a reflection of the goodwill that I've encountered. It's just positive energy that's been sent my way from the people in my life. That positive energy comes from many sources, people who have made me who I am today. And no one has been a bigger source of that force of love than my parents and my brother. My parents, Kat Neville and Chris Neville, are here with me today. Through the chaos of everyday life and the challenges that I've introduced into our home through my struggle with an eating disorder, my parents and my brother have been a huge source of positive energy in my life. They are my biggest supporters and my best friends, and the greatest examples I know of unconditional giving. I've also found an unexpected source of light in the selfless and caring community of the Blue Ridge Humane Society, both in the animals and the people. The organization as a whole is one of the most influential forces of giving in our county. I started volunteering with them because I wanted to better the lives of animals, but I soon realized that while they work tirelessly for the care, protection, and love of every creature that they encounter, they also are completely dedicated to improving the lives of everybody in our community. And that reached me immediately. This dedication to giving has been embodied in nobody more than the wonderful executive director, Lutrell O'Kane. During our work together, she's become one of my biggest role models for compassion, one of my closest friends, and my surrogate guardian. I've been fortunate enough to find myself surrounded by sources of positivity like this throughout my entire life. There are so many people that have just radiated love and selflessness that I've encountered on my journey. And while I can't thank all of them, I hope that they know who they are. I would like to thank the two that are here today that I know of, Ann Fitchner and Robin Reed. We're both incredibly early influences of goodwill in my life. It's because of them, the people and animals at the Blue Ridge Humane Society, and my family that I want to continue to live my life in a way that spreads the love, giving, and positive energy that has encompassed me throughout my journey. It's also a love and positive energy that I can feel that's radiating from this room, from each one of you. And in that sense, I would like to congratulate all the other winners today and thank all of you for the work that you do to make this world a better place and spread that positive energy. So thank you so much.
Jen Mayer is dedicated to improving the lives of others. She has achieved that goal, and her business, Charlotte Street Computers, was recently voted #1 in the Mountain Express Best of Western North Carolina poll for business that gives back to the community. That is no surprise to us, since her business has given over $50,000 back to the Asheville Community Theater since 2009, and over $10,000 to multiple nonprofits just in the last 2 years in our community. For supporting local nonprofits not only through her financial gift, but through time and talent, we're pleased to recognize Jen Mayer and Charlotte Street Computers as our outstanding business and philanthropy. And joining her is Susan Harper from the Asheville Community Theater.
My favorite type of award is the kind you get for giving. It really means a whole lot when you think about it. To get an award for giving means that you've got it pretty good. There's a whole line of giving that got me here. As some of you already know, I've been a recipient of the Man Food Bank myself and the Evelyn Foundation. And the reason why I'm so drawn to them is because they helped me at one point. We show by examples that our teams of neighbors care. I'm thankful for our neighbors Judy and Bruce Elliston, who taught me how to give. I'm thankful for Greg Mayer's mother, Susan Roderick, that taught him how to give. I'm thankful that Greg taught me how to give. I've never seen lasting improvement based on individual effort. Think of how many nonprofits have board members sitting around the table trying to decide how to give in Western North Carolina today. It's good to be in Asheville. We empower each child on their own turf, and we offer a friendly smile. There are so many customers of Charlotte Street Computers in here today, and I think it's really important that you all recognize when you support Charlotte Street, you're supporting what you believe in. I'm looking directly at one of my favorite customers and Greg Mayer's favorite customers, and it's because y'all support us that I'm here. So it's really about neighbors. My father, Bruce Elliston, says that I need to remember that it's not about you, it's about them, and he's right. Thank you.
The Buncombe County Medical Society was established in 1885 by area physicians. Since then, the society has carried out its mission of healthcare advocacy and addressed issues of access to quality healthcare, disparities in health, and health and wellness. The Foundation's nationally recognized flagship program, Project Access, provides access to healthcare at no charge for low-income, uninsured residents of Buncombe County. The WNC Interpreter Network addresses disparities in health due to linguistic barriers. For their work in healthcare access to the underserved, we recognize the Buncombe County Medical Society, Miriam Schwartz, who is joined today by Ms. Mary Williams Matthews.
Things before I begin my prepared remarks. One is I managed to bring my ever-loving husband up onto the podium. It took a little convincing. at the table, but he did it. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. I could keep going. The other thing is for the young woman who was up here earlier saying that she was a newbie and had to have her remarks prepared and so forth. Don't worry. I'm not a newbie and I still need to do it. It's okay. I'm going to give myself permission to say that. And then the other thing I want to point out is that we've actually expanded our organization. We're not the Buncombe County Medical Society anymore. A couple of years ago, we decided that we needed to expand into the region. We have wonderful physicians who work across Western North Carolina who both want to benefit from being a member of our association, but also would like to participate in expressing their philanthropic desires through the foundation. So we are now covered across Western North Carolina. We have 16 counties that we serve through WCMS. The Medical Societies Foundation is a physician and community-led charitable arm of the association, but we're not a typical foundation. We do give money to the community. We have an endowment, and every year we provide small grants to organizations that work to improve healthcare in our community. Recently, we moved that endowment to the Community Foundation of Western North Carolina to help us deliver those funds to the region. What we have, and rather than money, is service, the service orientation. We have very talented physicians who are part of our medical society and who want to give back to the community by donating their services. So I'm going to focus a little bit on Project Access, which is probably the most profound, long-standing program that we have that demonstrates that philanthropic spirit that our physicians have. This is a network of physicians, and the thing that actually makes us very unique is that we understand that as a foundation we can't do things in silos, and we have to break down those silos and collaborate. One of our strengths, I believe, is collaboration with a host of partners across our community in order to build a strong network which provides comprehensive healthcare services for low-income, uninsured people. They're your friends, neighbors, people who work for you, people who you encounter in the grocery store, at the beauty parlor, wherever you go, they are there. And we're not there yet. We still have a large number of people who are going to remain uninsured for some time. So this program offers hope, life, and a brighter future to low-income, uninsured people. Last year, the combined efforts of this big network that includes the hospital and lots of different partners, all our safety net partners, Pisgah Legal Services partners with us. We have lab companies that partner with us, contract medical interpreters, the hospital, and businesses who support us. Last year, we had over $10 million donated in free healthcare services to over 4,000 people in need. The physicians couldn't have done that by themselves, and while they're the drivers of this effort, it's the shared vision and the combined efforts of all of our partners that make this a I'm going to close with a quote from one of our patients, because I think we get thank you letters every week. We get patients dropping in to thank us. And every time we hear from the people we serve, it just reaffirms our passion for helping others. And we hear this week after week. Project Access was there when I needed it. It literally saved my life. We do hear that every week. You saved my life. From the moment my doctor determined I needed to be evaluated further due to discovering a lump in my breast, I was referred to Project Access, and within less than a month, I had all the necessary screenings and a lumpectomy. I can't tell you how much this means to me. I truly hope you can continue to serve people like me who need this program, and to serve other people as well as you have served me. I was very impressed by the dedication and the attention I received from everyone I came in contact with. You saved my life, physically, emotionally, and mentally. It doesn't get any better than that. Thank you.
Paul Vest has been the president and CEO of the YMCA of Western North Carolina for 17 years. Under his leadership, the organization has grown to 5 branches and serves more than 61,000 people annually. Next year, during the Y's 125th anniversary, Paul and his team will open an innovative medical Y in partnership with Mission and Pardee hospitals. Paul has a lifelong history with the Y. His father, Pat, is also a former Y CEO. Paul is escorted today by Bonnie Spradling, a founding member of the T. Ken Robertson Award, and we are thrilled to present the T. Ken Robertson Award for Nonprofit Management Excellence to Paul Vest.
Those of you who know me know this is not an easy moment. I'm sitting there in my chair, feeling my heart. I don't know if it's being the last guy on stage or what the deal is, but listening to all these worthy recipients of awards, it really makes me feel proud to be part of this day. First of all, I certainly want to thank the T. Ken Robertson Award Selection Committee for putting me up for this, and certainly the Association of Fundraising Professionals, and of course Rick Lotowski, who nominated me for this award. Also special thanks to my wife Vicki and my son Kevin and his new bride of all 3 weeks, Jesse, who are here with us today. But the reality is that this is so much not about me. This is about an organization. Actually, let me that heartbeat that I was feeling. Those of you who know me know that I kind of get teary once in a while, so I want to just put that out there. And by saying that, I'm thinking that's going to be the case. I had 2 people approach me when I came in today saying, "You going to cry? You going to cry?" So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I can hold it together. But this is really about an organization that, as was mentioned, is getting ready to celebrate 125 years next year. That's amazing when you think of the longevity of our institution in this community. That outlives the Biltmore Estate, the Grove Park Inn, and some of the institutions that we all think of and know and recognize as part of Asheville. So I'm very proud of that. This is about working with a group of staff who are just unbelievably, incredibly talented. I can tell you that there is not a YMCA in this country that can hold a candle to the hardworking efforts of our staff that really see needs in the community and go out and address those. And I'm really blessed to be just part of that team and be able to sit back once in a while and watch them work. It also is all about our supportive volunteers. I can't tell you, working with a group of volunteers, and I've got friends and most of them here today, a lot of them here today, that sit around board tables and talk about how the Y can do and be that next innovative organization in our community. When you start having volunteers and staff working together, balance that with great donors who come to the table and want to support that work, especially when we're working to support those who can't afford some of our services. It really is amazing work, and it's one of the reasons why I'm so proud of being part of a Y that's probably one of the best Ys in our country. We don't pat ourselves on the back about that much, but we should be very proud of that effort. I can talk all day long about our business. I can talk about being that large nonprofit in the community, $15 million operating budget, 700 employees, 71 people. We upped that, we just had our annual report. Served last year, largest school-age provider in Western North Carolina. Raised over $745,000 in annual support campaign money last year and received another $1 million in public support. And had over 1,000 donors. So I can talk about that, and I just did. But I really want to share with you, because many of you sitting in this room probably think of us as that great Woodfin Street swimming gym, down right across the street, actually. And our real story is about our cause-driven work. It's about who we are as an organization in providing over $3 million of subsidized services in the community last year alone. It's about serving 2/3 of the children in our after-school and day camp programs that are receiving some kind of subsidized services. Again, 800 kids a day, 2/3 of those kids today will be served by subsidized services in our after-school child care program. Our 21st Century program, great program that has been funded. We're seeing a 90% improvement in student scores of middle schoolers who are coming to us day in and day out and being part of that program that help with tutoring but also enrichment activities. And a 96% success rate in dropout prevention in our teen after-school program. So there's things that are happening that are just amazingly impactful in our community. On the medical side, as Amanda mentioned, we're getting into a whole new arena of being that institution and organization that can work on prevention in our communities for all people. We did a pilot program of our YMCA Diabetes Prevention Program in McDowell County. Had over 100 participants this past year, keeping them off of, from going into diabetes. That was all free of charge and no expense to that. We had over 180 people involved in our Live Strong at the YMCA program. These are cancer survivors who need to get their life back. And they have reached out and come to our organization for exercise, for coaching, for counseling, for some great work that happens to bring and lift them up for support. And the impact of our volunteers, when we recognized we had 200 people on a wait list for that Live Strong program, raised an additional $95,000 this past year to make sure we could get our wait list finished off. Our work in the Shiloh community to deal with health disparity issues and making sure that wellness is part of everybody's life and finding ways to bridge some of those gaps continues to be an important priority for us as well. Again, next year we are celebrating our 125th. I would ask you to go on our website and look at our annual report, and you can get more commercials on the YMCA from that, and understand our work at a little deeper level. But I want to thank everybody for being here and supporting.
Debbie Rice is our president-elect for AFP Western North Carolina. She will be joining you for some closing remarks this afternoon.
What an inspiring day, huh? I was thinking about how you can wrap up a great day like this when you have all these really fabulous people that have done great things in our community. It's just really hard to do that. So I don't know how I can top any of that. But I did come across a quote I wanted to share with you. True philanthropy requires a disruptive mindset, innovative thinking, and a philosophy driven by entrepreneurial insights and creative opportunities. And I just think today we've seen that demonstrated in all of our winners today. Let's thank our winners. If you didn't get a chance when you came in today, as you leave outside our posters for each of our winners today. And you are invited to sign the posters, which they will be framed and given to them later. It's a great way to let them know that you were here today. I also want to thank each and every one of our sponsors, because we could not have had this event without you today. And lastly, I want to thank each of you for all you do as a donor, as a volunteer, and as a board member, in whatever way that you serve our nonprofit community, because it works. I hope that each of you will go out and make a difference, and you'll come back next year and tell us all about it. We'll see you then. Thank you.